eyebrows are just falling off. Okay. Yeah, so I finally saw the new Scream movie. Sure. It's horror franchises, it's like the slasher franchises, it's a movie, you know? It's a lot better than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. Um, this one is going, well, this one's going in the direction of the member berries thing, you know. Thank you, phone. Star Wars, you know, Force Awakens did it. Something else. The latest Ghostbusters movie did it as well. You know, and obviously, oh my god. Of course, every time I'm recording, everyone wants to be in contact with me. No one talks to me, and then I hit record on a camera, and then my phone goes off like crazy. Always. So yeah, like, again, the Scream franchise is very meta, so of course they mention the whole thing of like, you know, uh, what's the one character who is Jamie Kennedy's Randy, that character, their like niece or something. So of course, like that character is like the exact same thing. You know, again, we're doing the whole like member berries. This character reminds you of this one, and blah blah blah. Obviously, there's a lot of like comparisons to like this has happened in the first movie, and then here are similar things that happen in this movie. Again, the member berries thing. You know, which is it's like it's one of those things where it's like sure fine, you know, like it's fine, you know what I mean. I mean technically the Texas Chainsaw Massacre did that as well because it's again like I'm talking and now everyone wants to get in contact with me. Jesus Christ. But anyway, so it's like I said, like I said, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was going in that vein as well. You know, because really with that movie, because that one sold, you could really only bring back, you know, a character because literally that one everyone died, and even then the actual actress passed away. So you know, in this one, like a good chunk of them came back. You know, even dead ones, in the brain space. Blah, blah, blah. Again, which is it's like I said, I keep saying it's fine because it's like I'm not like annoyed with it as I was with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, mainly because like the people in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, like it's one of those they deserved it kind of thing. Where in the Scream one, it's like you know, like oh they're teenagers or whatever the fuck, and it's like no one really deserved it in this movie. Like shit just happened to them, in a sense. The Scream movies. I almost accidentally said the Saw movies. The Scream movies, because it's like if shit just happens, it just so happens that you know someone who's fucking psychotic, and then you know killings start happening. I mean, obviously, I'm going to spoilers. This movie's been out for a bit of time, so um, bless me. Of course, they ended up killing off David Arquette's character because, again, in the vein of Force Awakens, one of the major characters that comes back has to die because why not? You know, um, whatever. The brain fart again. Um, yeah. So, like it's like the idea of they're trying to figure out who Ghostface was. What was interesting, I like that they pretty much called it out early, which I knew too. I was like, it had to be Jack Quaid. I was like, it has to be him. You know, like if you look at it, you're like, well, this person is well known compared to all these other actors and actresses. You know, he's the guy from The Boys. So I'm like, it has to be him. It was trying to figure out who the second one was because initially I was thinking it had to be the couple. You know, the Jack Quaid and the girl. You know, and you know, sadly, it's like stab my sister kind of thing. Because if you think about it, in the original Scream, dudes are like going to kill his girlfriend. You know, so and like, well, they did like what's his name? Matthew Lillard's character goes to like kill his girlfriend. You know, like it's like who cares? Even if it's your sibling, you're gonna you know it's gonna happen. When it turns out to be like the other chick that you don't really see often, but then like once it's revealed to be her, then you suddenly see her a lot. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Um, the fact that they met each other on a subreddit, I was like, oh god, oh my god. All right, I mean, do you? So yeah, this one takes the thing of, well, that they are obsessed with the stab movies, and then they wanted to like they wanted to have their own thing, you know, their own legacy of them being Ghostface and yada yada. So then, like, oh, well, it all started because of the stab thing. Then find out that those girls were the girl who gets hurt in the beginning, who doesn't die, not like Drew Barrymore, and then the older sister is that they're Billy Loomis's kids. I'm like, sure. You know, he was dating Sydney, but she was a virgin, and she didn't really want to go all the way, and she felt uncomfortable. Understandable, it's high school. And then instead he, like, got someone else pregnant, which, you know, that's stuff that does happen. Um, I mean, yeah, if you kind of think about it, you know, like, if you think, see, at least the timeline for this makes more sense, because if the sister was born in, like, was it 1996 is that? So, yeah, she was born in 96, 97. Yeah, so she should be, like, 20, how old am I? 96. So she should be 25, 20. God, I'm old. I was like, 96, what's that for? Oh, no. Yeah, so she should be, like, 25, 26 and all that stuff. And then the sister is a little bit younger in high school age, which makes sense, you know, later on, yada yada. Which, again, the timeline makes more sense than fucking The Craft. That was another movie that, like, oh my god, that is an example of terrible member berries. Like, the Ghostbusters one, that hit me in the feels, but also Ghostbusters is such, like, a much older movie, so, like, you know, I watched it the movies I watched as a child, and, you know, like, it feels, it's like Ninja Turtles to me, you know, where it's like I grew up on it, it's like my thing, you know. And that one just, it hit the feels. It's kind of like Spider-Man 3, where, like, it hit the feels, even though it's, like, it's, again, it's one of these movies, again, like, fine, you know. Again, even with, like, Texas Chainsaw, the new one, it's like, well, at least it was really gory, and, you know, everyone you wanted to die died, you know, that kind of stuff. Even though the whole point of the thing was dumb, you know. Like, yeah, Craft Legacy was an example of bad member berries, where they're just like, look, we are the weird. God, that got me so angry. I'm just like, what is this shit? Yeah, the whole thing of, like, I'm the daughter of Nancy. How? Again, yeah, if it was like that girl where she's in her mid-20s, that makes sense, because I think that movie came out in, like, 94. The Craft came out before Scream. You know, Skeet Ulrich was the guy at the time. I mean, same with Matthew. I mean, all of them. But yeah, like, who's a fuck it? That was fucking member berries. Yeah, bad member berries. The Craft Legacy. And also, like, no one was happy that was coming out. People are just like, because also no one from the original came back except for Fairuza Balk, but she came back in, like, the last 5 minutes. Like, her back is to the door, and then she's like, you know? Yeah, if they were all there... Like, the thing I said in my review is that if the new teenagers in the movie were, like, their kids, fine. But it's like, no, these new fuckers are like, oh my god, I'm, like, totally into witchcraft. I was on my TikTok the other day, and I was telling people about, what's that thing? Phasing or what? I don't know. Well, I don't know what the children are talking about these days. I'm an old. But yeah, like with this one, it's just kind of, you know, again, in the sense of Force Awakens member berries, it just kind of took the first script and just, you know, find and replace, you know, find and replace. Which, it's not good, but it's still better, you know, fine. Again, that's why I keep saying it's fine. It's like, well, it didn't need to, but sure, you know. I mean, people try to, you know, always look at the upside and say, well, you know, that makes people watch the original and da-da-da. I'm like, I know, but, like, do you need someone to, like, what's it say, requel, legacy sequel, whatever? Like, do you need that for people to then watch it? Like, can't you just be a person and be like, oh, I'm into horror films? You know, even looking up dumb things like essential horror films to watch, you know? Like, I don't know. Maybe because I'm, like, a movie nerd, and, like, I'm just like, oh, that movie is made in 2006 and everyone hates it? I'll have to check it out. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it is really bad. You know? Like, oh, this is like an art film, like an art house movie, and everyone loves it, but then some people really hate it. All right, I'll check it out. Oh, that was something else with this movie. They were trying to talk about like elevated horror, heightened da da da, and it's so funny because it's like the elevated heightened horror stuff is such like a huge like divide. You know, it's a very like polarizing thing when it comes to like horror fans and like art house fans because some horror fans would be like, sure, why not? Yeah, Midsummer, fuck yeah, you know, all that stuff. And then art house people are like, this movie thinks it's smart, but it's not. And it's like, I don't think the movie thinks it's smart. It was just making a movie and a thing happened. Like, calm down. You know, like, there's this huge divide. And again, like, I watched the you know, the cinema kind of movies. And I also watched the movie that, you know, was shot on, like, a fucking, you know, Motorola Razr. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not great, but like I still watch it and I go, well, you know what? You know, it's like, it's like it's like you know who you can fuck with their with what their opinion on Malignant is. There you go. If they're like, oh, that was just dumb, it's like, but if they're like, yo, Malignant was great, it's like, all right, you're cool. You know, I feel like it's like that, and I love how the fucking kid in the beginning, she's like, oh, what's your favorite horror film? She's like, The Babadook. And I'm like, oh, God. And I like it, she's like, oh, it's a thing about grief and da-da-da. And I know that's what The Babadook is, but I don't like The Babadook mainly because that child was so fucking annoying. Mommy, no! Like, shrieking children, shrieking people in general, but shrieking children, I'm like, put it down. Put it down. Put it, you know. The Babadook. And she like her like fucking Lethal Weapon line when she shoots it, she's like, I still like the Babadook. It's like, God. These young kids today don't know good film, blah blah blah, whatever, fuck. Yeah, so my nose itches. You know, I guess if you want to be that person, be like, oh, they like, I know I bitched about this with Craft Legacy where it felt like the cast looked like, you know, you're checking off a list, but that definitely was like, we've got a POC and oh, a trans, you know, that kind of stuff. This one, it felt more natural, and that, like, that's the problem when it comes to, like, when people want to, like, have casts with, like, more diversity, is that when it feels natural, and then when it's, like, we have a checklist of like, we've got to have all the ones that are marginalized, and but we still won't treat them like people, but we have to be like, look, we're one of, you know, it's June, let's put rainbow over our thing. Okay, it's July 1st, take it down. You know, like, again, whereas this movie, it's like, okay, having the twins, you know, and whatever, like, it nothing felt like they like the shoehorning thing I always talk about, where it's like, oh, we have to acknowledge that, like, pretty much like they didn't have to constantly acknowledge that these people were like POCs or like if that character was gay. It's just like you kind of just assumed kind of stuff, which that's kind of, I like that better, where you're just like, oh, this seems to be kind of a little bit of lesbian tension here. Oh, because she's gay. Okay, and then you just move on, you know. Whereas other movies where they're kind of like, it's a gay, we have a gay, and the character's like, hi, I'm the gay, you know, like, or like I'm. Like, you know, if I were, like, in a movie and they're like, I'm the weird Asian. Remember? 3 scenes later, you know, like, I'm glad this one just kind of was like, they're people, they're friends, and yada yada, you know. They just kind of moved on with their, you know, I mainly watched it to just see Neve Campbell, because I haven't seen her in fucking forever. I'm glad she didn't die, because that would suck, you know. It's just, like, I don't know why my brain just realized, I was like, Neve Campbell? Skeet Ulrich. The Craft, Scream. Why did I just... I mean, I knew that, but my brain was just like... Yep. Yes. Blah, 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 blah. Courtney Cox was fine. I mean, I never really liked the Gale character, because she was really annoying, but, like... She plays that character well, you know? Sucks what happened with David Arquette's character, but, again, one of them had to go, you know? It's the thing of, like, the trio shit. You know, again... Force Awakens, the trio thing, one of them has to go. Fucking Ghostbusters, you know, like, the guys are back kind of shit. Yeah, I don't know what else I'm talking about. This movie was fine, you know. Like I said, it's better. It's better than, you know, the Texas Chainsaw movie. And I mean, like, granted, I guess you could say that about, like, the new, like, Halloween movies, because they are technically the legacy requel, whatever shit you want to Who came up with that term, requel? You know, because you've got, like, Old Man Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis coming back, and then the second one with Halloween Kills, it's like more people from the other movies had made cameos and all that stuff, and then there's the last movie, which again, I'm like, I'm fine with, because yeah, like, again, when you do it right, it's like, oh, okay, you know? And I love how people are like, when are we gonna get another, like, Friday the 13th? I'm like, just let these franchises die. Like, just let them die. Like, I'm fine with these franchises. Like, just, Jesus Christ. Like, Friday the 13th has fucking 11 movies, for God's sakes, if you count Freddy vs. Jason. You know? They have, oh no, 12. God, there's the remake. I always forget about that. The guy from the guy who played Jason in the remake one, was his table was right next to Kane. Last weekend when I went to go to a horror convention. But yeah, there's 12 movies. That's a lot. That's a lot. Just stop. That's a lot. Jesus Christ. Stop. You know? God. Like, I remember the first time when I heard that they were gonna, like, do that with the fucking Saw franchise. I was like, no, because I love Saw. The first one I really loved. The second one I was like, alright. The third one I was like, okay. And I stopped seeing them in theaters because I was just like, fuck this shit. And then when I finally watched them, I was like, it was a lot of that watching it. I mean, again, my tolerance for, you know, multi-franchise horror films is just like, sure. I don't even think I've seen, like, the other, like, Silent Night, Deadly Nights. I mean, those would be, like, one of the days later kind of movies I'll watch. Was it, like, what's the other one? Wishmaster? There's the other one. What's that other one? It's not Phantasm? Yeah, there's that one. Yeah, there's a bunch of these where they go to, like, like, the 6 movies and all that stuff. Yeah. Guys, just let it die. Just let it die. Just make up something new. It's like, you know, everyone keeps saying this, but it's true. Just make something new, you know? And that's why, like, when something is kind of, like, original and a thing out of nowhere, big quotes, that's why people are, like, end up gravitating towards it, you know? Again, that's why something like Hereditary or Midsummer or The Lighthouse or The Witch, like, that stuff comes out and people are just like, oh my god, you know? I mean, certain ideas in it might not be, like, the most original kind of thing, but at the same time, it's like, you don't, you know, because it's not a Marvel movie. It's not a Star Wars thing. It's not a DC movie. You know what I mean? It's not a thing in a big franchise owned by a big corporation kind of shit. It's like, well, it's A24, but you know, it's like, here you go. Here's this weird movie about people. There, watch. You know? Like, that's why people are just like, oh, oh shit, you know? Anyway, I've been talking a while, so, oh, I was looking at my letterboxing to see, like, how I scored the other Scream movies, and I mean, like, granted, a lot of these, like, slasher franchises, they're all rated low, but this one is like, god damn. Like, I know, yeah, I definitely did not like Scream 4. I called Scream 4 the actually Scream because, god, that just, like, annoyed me. And plus the Drag Race Season 1 filter that was on that movie, I don't know why they chose that. I mean, that one I also figured out that one of the killers was Emma Roberts because it's like, you know, she's a blonde, and she was brunette in this, and I was like, nope, they had to change the bitch's hair color to make her not the bitch, but Emma Roberts plays the bitch, so she's the bitch, and then it turns out that she was the bitch, and it's like, well, there you go. And it also wasn't like, I get that wasn't a surprise. That also, like, one of the Culkins with his freaking, like, live stream headset that, god, I was so annoyed with, was also a Ghostface. No, like, usually like, I don't know, maybe because, like, when the first Scream came out, and it turned out to be, like, Billy and Stu, I was like, what? Yeah, it shocked me, but also, 1996, I was 10, so, I mean, a lot of things shocked me at that age. What do you mean I can't have ice cream for breakfast, mother? You know, but anyway, that's it. That's Scream. How was it Scream 4? Jesus. That's Scream 2022. Let these franchises die, please. Please.